Yep. I'll let you
Good
start.
there.
Go for it.
And we'll push there. All right, welcome to the Jeremy White Podcast in collaboration with Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon and Primary Wave. We're very stoked to be talking to two iconic members of a legendary group that you know and love, okay? These guys are awesome. And you can join Air Supply on Sunday, February 14th for Love Letters, their first ever global stream. Performed live at the Jacksonville Theater, the special Valentine's Day show is going to feature all their hits, 4 airings in Sydney, London, New York, Los Angeles. You get tickets and information at airsupplymusic.com. Welcome to the show, Russell and Graham from Air Supply.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it very much.
This is very exciting. So talk about this really great global stream you guys happening on February 14th for Valentine's Day. I mean, you know, you're gonna be playing all the hits. It was recorded live in Jacksonville. You're just gonna it's just a set full of hits, right? All getting romantic for Valentine's.
Yeah, I mean, our show is, you know, we've been very fortunate in our career. We've had a lot of hit records, so our show is pretty much full of them, you know, which is great. I mean, we're gonna play 2 brand new songs, but it's nice for us. I mean, Valentine's is kind of our territory, you know.
Right.
It has been for decades. So we thought we'd do a stream for Valentine's, and we read love letters out, you know, that people send in. So it's quite interesting when you read how people got together. It's very varied and very, very unusual the way people get together around the world.
Yeah, and especially with everything going on, it's like everything's virtual now. So might as well get a candlelit dinner in the apartment and slap on Air Supply, you know?
Get your girlfriend on a Zoom.
Yeah, write a love letter. So with the love letters, people are going to write in love letters, and it's almost like a dedication show.
Yes, it is actually. That's very good. Casey Kasem, MBN.
Long distance dedication.
There you go. Yeah, and as Graham said, the letters are very touching, and you know, there's in fact one of the letters that we read the other day had some woman fell in love with a guy over some slugs, you know, like slimy slugs.
Yeah.
It was a movie, yeah.
Oh, it was a movie. Sorry.
Well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, it's just funny, you know. I can imagine what kind of tales you guys are getting in that inbox.
Yeah. And
Slug tales.
it goes to slimy slugs, to romantic dinners, and you know, people proposing with one of our songs to their future wife. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let me just quickly ask you about your sound, because, you know, you've been described as soft rock, and of course you have the Valentine's Day market sort of cornered. Was that always your intention to do these love things and just go down that road? Or did you just find success and go, hey, you know, if it ain't broke, let's just go, you know?
Well, we've never been, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We want to move along every year and every recording that we do. And first of all, we're not a soft rock band, for those who haven't seen us. It's a rock and roll show.
Great.
Yeah, put him in his place right off the bat. Come on now. It's a rock and roll band.
I do that to everybody. And, you know, Graham writes what's in his heart and his head.
Mm-hmm.
So never, I'm speaking for him, even though he's here. He writes what he writes, and what he writes is what he feels. So we've never said, oh, let's do a ballad. We're hits now. Let's keep doing ballads. Isn't that right, Graham?
That is true, Russell. And he's here too.
So that's interesting. So, you know, you just make music and art that you like, and that's it.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to describe it. We create music that we like, you know, and there was no design to be, to write songs like this. It just happened. And it's, you know, I started writing songs when I was 12 years old. So, and our first hit record was in 76. So I had a long time to sort it all out, you know, before.
Perfect your craft.
Yeah, I mean, I've been writing songs for over 60 years, so I've kind of figured it out a little bit now, you know.
Right.
Well, let me ask you then about that, because in 1985, you worked with Bob Ezrin and Peter Collins. And of course, Bob is known for doing The Wall and Kiss and Alice Cooper. And Peter Collins is known for doing Queensryche and Alice Cooper. To talk to me about working with those guys, because they do bring out more of the rock. They are known for making more of the rock records. What was that experience like? And I'm a Kiss fan, so I need to know what it was like working with Bob.
Well, I mean, he's an iconic. They both are iconic producers, you know.
Absolutely.
And, it was nice working with him. I mean, we've worked with several really cool producers, but in the end, we like to do what we want to do, you know, and we never butt heads with anybody, but we'll always say to any producer that this is the sound that we want, you know, and if they can't deliver what we want or make it even better, then there's a problem. But with those two, it was great working with them. And but I don't think Bob brought anything in particular that wasn't there anyway. You know, do you remember Bob Ezrin?
Slightly. I remember Peter Collins.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it
Peter's
was
great.
You know, it's always good. Peter Collins was great. In fact, with Peter, we went to London to record for like 2 months, and he brought this guy in that was. It was all everything was pre-programmed, and he brought this guy in with his wall of synthesizers, and he wanted to do everything: the keyboards, the drums, the strings, the guitar, and we had a little bit of a problem with that. You know, we didn't want it to be sound like it was in a box.
Right, you didn't want it to sound like computerized.
Yeah, we're not a computer band. You know, we're a live band, and that wasn't a problem, by the way. And in fact, we did Power of Love with him, which was incredible. And you know, we get on great with both those guys. But in the end, we have a clear definition of what our sound should be, you know, and hopefully different people can help us make it even better. Yes. So that's what it's all about for us. But
do you think that was a product of the time, though? Because 1985, and Jeremy will appreciate this, it's all about the Linn drums. It's all about the synthesizers. It's all about making that slick sort of MTV kind of sound.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, you know, I'm wearing a Def Leppard shirt, so you look at what Mutt Lange was doing with the Def Leppard guys at the time, and
you're right, yeah.
But you know, look what he did with Shania Twain too.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the reasons, as Graham said before, we follow our own drummer. We probably could have had a lot more success if we'd done Linn drums and everything was computerized. But that's not us, so we're not going to do it.
Right, you're not going to conform to the social norms of the time just for the sake of making money. It really is art for you.
Yeah, had we done that years and years ago, because everybody and their dog said to us, "Oh, you've had a big hits with ballads. Why don't you do this or why don't you do that?" And we said, well, we don't make any plans to do anything in particular. We just do it. It's like you said earlier, Jeremy. We just write and record songs, and you know, we never know what they're going to be like, but we pretty much know after all this time that they're going to be romantic. It's going to be romantic, and it's going to be very powerful.
Right.
For instance, I mean, All Out of Love is a romantic. It's a ballad, but it's an epic, powerful song. So most of our songs are like that. And when people come and see us for the first time, they realize, they go, "Oh, whoa, I had no idea." They think it's going to be something a lot less than what it is, but it's loud and it's really powerful. Wow. And it hits you right here and it knocks you out, and not in a blasting way, but more in an emotional way. And it has an effect on you. I mean, in Jacksonville the other night, there were a lot of people. I could see them in the guys, like, you know, and at first during the show, and this is kind of common, people go, "Oh, okay, you know, impress me." And then during the show, and this happens every time we play, they go, "Oh, okay." And then by the end of the show, they're standing there and their jaw is on the floor and they're going, "Whoa." And the guy looks at me and he goes, and I go, "Yeah."
That was heavy, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we never claim to be brilliant at anything, but with what we do, we've become to be really good at it, and that we've created this sound that we have, and that's what we love to do. You know, if somebody came now and said, "Hey, you know, if you do this, you'll be mega stars," and we would go, "I don't know about that." Right. You know, we're very lucky. We have a great life, and we like to do that. You know,
I must say too that going back to why don't you do this and you'll be successful, we've had great success with what we do, and we've had failures because we didn't do what somebody else told us to do.
Right.
But you've got to stick to your guns and what's in your heart.
Well, it's interesting because Mitch and I were talking about, you know, All Out of Love, and you know, the story about how Clive Davis wanted you guys to change the second, you know, line in that first portion of the song. You know, talk about that. You know, I mean, did you guys kind of have some pushback and say, "No, well, this is our song. Why are we going to change this just for a specific market?" Or
yeah, we did have pushback because the song had already been a big hit. It was #1 in Australia 2 years before that. So Clive came to me and he said, you know, as the writer of the song, he said, you know, in America, you need to change this line. And I thought about it and I said, well, Clive, it's already been a big hit. But he said, yeah, it's been a big hit in Australia, but you're talking about America and the rest of the world. And he said, you need to change it. He said, you can leave it the way you want, if the way it is, or and it'll probably be a hit. But he said, if you change that one line, he said, it'll be a monster hit. And it'll probably be the biggest song of your career. And we both thought about it, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the guy from the publishing company came to me off the record, and his name was Billy Michelle. He's no longer with us, but he was a famous person with Clive. And he said, if I have a say in it, he said, change the line. And I took his advice and I changed it. And at first I thought, you know, I'm giving in. But then I thought, you know, you've got to give and take. And I was listening to Billy and I was listening to Clive Davis, who is who he was and still is a legend. And I thought, I'm going to go with his advice, you know, and I did. And he was right. And so what Russell just said is true. We may have been even bigger had we listened to more people, but we don't listen to a lot of people, you know. But we listened to Clive and he was right. And it changed our whole fortunes, you know.
Well, I guess when you have somebody like Clive Davis telling you, maybe you should do this, I guess maybe I'll take your advice.
Yeah, Clive, you just got on that song, All Out of Love. I don't know if you're aware, but a Filipino singer-actor named Inigo Pascual has covered the song and is releasing it on February 5th. And what I find remarkable is two things. First of all, you seem to have this incredibly impassioned nation, Philippines, for Air Supply. And also, he was born in 1997. He's a young kid and he's covering this song. It's a testament to how your music touches people of every age and every generation. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, we actually found out about that a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we got online with him to his surprise in an interview from the Philippines. And he was really excited and he didn't know we were coming on. But I heard the track. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
And it's a great track. And funnily enough, the production sounds like it's all in a box. However, it's what you just said. It's very current and it's hip. And the guy's only 23 years old.
Right.
And it's really nice for us to hear one of our songs that is translated into a new generation. You know, I mean, that song was released in 1980, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
It's 40 years old. And
41.
here we are, and the guy's just released it, and it'll probably be a big hit. And I said to him, you know, you might have a big hit on your hands here because his generation may not know who we are, you know.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Listen, it's Jeremy's generation. He's about your age, right? I mean, you're like 3 years older than him.
Right? So, you know.
No, we're older than both of you put together. That's neither here nor there.
We have socks older than you guys.
Oh God.
Well, maybe, but just one last question on the production side. From Mumbo Jumbo and a few albums before that, Graham, you took over and started producing. Did you sort of just get to the point where you just said, you know what we want. We know what Air Supply is. We don't need to spend the cash on Mutt or Bob or Pete. We know.
Right.
We're just going to do it ourselves.
Yeah, I remember that time, you know, and I really don't relish producing albums. And in fact, I don't think I'll do anymore, simply because I've always had this ideology with my career, you know, and I think everybody should do what they're really good at and let other people do what they're really good at. Now, I'm not a good record producer, and I think I took over, and I was very reluctant to do it, because there was nobody on the horizon that either A, wanted to work with us, or B, I thought would bring anything that I couldn't bring. But, you know, these days, we just record tracks all the time. And, you know, I've always got songs cooking, and I'll say to Russell, I'm going to record here in Florida or in Salt Lake or in Los Angeles or New York, and we'll go in and record some songs. So, you know, the producer end of it is something I don't really enjoy that much, to be quite honest. You know, I'm a really good songwriter, and you know, I can write a song on a dime in 15 minutes, but production is not my expertise. So if there's anybody out there that does want to work with us, we're all ears, you know.
But when it comes to, you know, producing, when you say you don't like enjoy the production side of it, is it the task of, okay, we need to create a drum sound or a guitar tone or keys or arranging the songs and
It really is for me. Like, for instance, at home at my studio, I mean, I have all the gear and everything, but I don't use it. And when I'm writing a song, it's usually almost, in fact, almost always either piano or guitar. And I record it. You won't believe this, but I'll record the song because I write very quickly. I'll record a song from nothing to finish, lyrics and everything, in 30 minutes. And I'll record it on my phone. And I often send tracks to Russell on my phone, and it sounds crappy and distorted and everything, but for me it's cool because I can hear the song in its entirety, and then I can start to tweak it and make it even better. But in the studio, for me, it's too laborious and takes too long. You have to have incredible patience, and my hat goes off to those producers that sit there. You know, I used to be a good friend with Mick Fleetwood, and I know he told me once that he spent 6 weeks on a snare sound in the studio.
I met the guy from Supertramp, Roger Hodgson.
Oh, Roger, yeah.
Wow.
And I asked him what he was doing, and he said a solo album. And he was working on drum sounds for 2 years.
You know,
no, sure. It has to be more organic. I like the old, you know, the old days of whatever, Beatles, Black Sabbath. What you go into a studio for like a week, and then you have an album.
Right.
Yeah, our first album we recorded and mixed in a week, and it went.
And it's great.
In Australia, that's a long time ago, and we really didn't know what we were doing then. But we had a great producer, by the way. But you're right. When you go back and you look at the Beatles, for instance, they recorded their first album, "Please Please Me," and I think in a day, in an afternoon. And when you, as every Beatle fan knows, when you hear John singing "Twist and Shout," he just sang it 4 times. And George Martin said, and I know that wasn't on "Please Please Me" too. He said, "You got to do it one more time," and his voice was just going, and you can hear it in the track. But it's so cool. And that's what we like to do is work kind of quickly and get that real adrenaline of a song or a performance. Get it, you know, like for instance, Russell, when Russell sang "Making Love Out Nothing at All," and he'll tell you because he's here. I mean, he sang it one take, and Jim Steinman said, "Okay, what do we do now?" And I said, "We go home." I swear to God, no.
We go to the bar.
Go to the pub, that's it.
But you got to catch that vibe. You've got to catch that energy, that lightning in a bottle. And when I mean, I love what Mutt Lange does, but sometimes if you beat a dead horse, it's like, just capture it.
Yeah, but I also think though, you know, that adds character and it adds, you know, some spontaneity and some originality to the track as well, and it adds some organicness to it. If your voice is starting to go in a track or in a take, you know, all of a sudden that adds a different character to it.
It's gritty,
completely different.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. But you know, for us, because we've been around for a long time, we do think that way and still do. But at the same time, I must say there are some incredible producers these days that do it a different way, and everybody likes to work with a different ethic. And I know a lot of producers that I know myself that they take a lot of time, and they're not quite sure, and they do a mix. When we were recording an album, I know 20 years ago, it was recording "Somewhat," the song called "Someone," which is a beautiful track.
Mm-hmm.
And the engineer that we were using, he must have mixed it 30 times, and I was in the studio, and I started to fall asleep. And in the end, I said, "I got to go and sleep." And it was 4 a.m. He said, "Oh, I think I got the mix." So he wakes me up and I'm listening, and of course my ears are gone. And I'm going, you know what? I can't tell if it's good or bad. So I went back to sleep for another 4 hours. And then he calls me again and says, "Okay, I've really got it now." So it's that thing that doesn't inspire us, because we're cut from a different cloth, you know.
Well, you know, look at Michael Jackson and his song "Billie Jean." He and the mixer, they did, I think it was 72 mixes of the song. And Quincy Jones came in. He's like, what are you guys doing? Like, you've been in here for, like 2 days. Like, oh, we think we got the mix now. So they played in the mix. And he's like, okay, well, let me hear mix 2. Played a mix 2. And Quincy was like, yeah, that one.
Well, tell them about David Foster.
Yeah, we were recording with David Foster.
Great Canadian.
Malibu. And he was just working with Whitney Houston. When we had a break, he said, I want to play you something. And he played us I Will Always Love You.
Oh, wow.
And
it was a rock.
He said, it's a rough vocal. We're going to do it again. We're going to put strings, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then next session we had, he came back and he said, I played that to Clive. And he said, this is what's going out. No other vocal, no strings. It's going to go out the way it is.
Wow.
So,
and David didn't like that. And he had an argument right there with Clive. And we were there.
Yeah.
And Clive says, no, this is it. And Dave says, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Clive said, you can do whatever you like, but this is going out.
This is how it's going.
Yeah. And he was right because the bodyguard was huge.
Clive always knew. He always knew.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a great documentary on him I think on Netflix or Amazon Prime or one of those things. Then they talk about his career and everything. Oh, it's just a legend, the guy. So many stories, And
yeah.
Well, how do you argue with him? I mean, when Clive says something, you just go, right, gotcha.
Yeah, you don't argue with Clive.
You learn to not argue with him pretty quick.
Do you think there's still people like that in the music industry, like not up to like Clive's kind of caliber, but do you think artists of today could use somebody like Clive Davis?
I really think they could,
right?
Because with all these shows, talent shows, American Idol and The Voice and everything, I think people have the false presumption that they can become famous overnight, but it's just not a true phrase.
And just with this, become famous with the phone.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. And people have, in my opinion, people have the wrong aspirations. They want to become famous before they become a great musician or become really good at their craft. And for me, that's not the right work ethic, But we're old-fashioned guys now, so maybe we're wrong.
Well, in the history of that kind of show, the only 2 people that I can remember that are successful are Kelly Clarkson and Adam Lambert.
Yeah,
I've not seen anybody else for years that won those shows show up anywhere. So
no, I think Clay Aiken was a mayor at one point or something.
But I'm forgetting the blonde girl who won, who became
Carrie
a country.
Underwood.
Carrie Underwood.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't forget Carrie Underwood. She's. I'm a rock guy, but I hear her sing and I go, yep, she's.
You're like,
good.
yeah, Jesus, take the wheel, Jesus.
Yeah, she's good.
One of the songs she sang was "Making Love Out of Nothing at All," incidentally.
Yep. Well, hey, if you want to win a competition, you got to sing some of the world's greatest songs. And listen,
that's true.
You have got some of the world's greatest songs. The fact that you've been here, you started in 75, 76. I mean, it goes to show, There we go.
For itself.
We're still able to work. We still pay the bills.
Right.
Which is good.
and we'll pay them with the live stream.
Yeah, that's right. Air Supply Sunday, Valentine's Day, February 14th. Love Letters, their first ever global stream. Tickets and information available at airsupplymusic.com. Also check them out on all their socials and all the platforms, and go buy it. 4 airings at 8:00 Sydney time, London time, New York time, and Los Angeles time. So wherever you are in the world, it's a global stream event, and you can be there, get your tickets. It's going to be great. So you guys have said it all. This was awesome.
Thanks, man.
And by the way, we have codes to give away. So we got 3 lucky winners possibly.
Right.
We don't even have them. That's
I
good.
know, right?
That's right. All right, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Great pleasure.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you so much. Great interview. Thank you for the time. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Thanks so much, guys. Hey, don't leave just yet. We're gonna get you guys to record a really quick promo, if that's okay.
By all means.
Yeah, so just say, hey, everybody, it's Air Supply. Join us on Valentine's Day, and Jeremy and Mitch have some codes for you to win, so make sure you follow and subscribe.
Okay.
You
want to do it?
We should do it together.
All right, I'll start.
Okay. I'll probably screw it up. No, okay.
That's all right. We're not going to run out of tape. It's digital.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I am Graham Russell.
And I'm Russell Hitchcock. Of course, we're Air Supply. See us on Valentine's Day, February 14th, with Jeremy and Mitch. It's a wonderful show. You're going to love the streaming. Also, they have some very special codes. 3 lucky winners get to see it for free. Be there or be square.
Yes. That was
Perfect.
awesome. That was perfect, guys.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you
Thank you
again,
so
guys.
much.
It's terrific.
Thank you.
Bon après-midi. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, it was
All
great
right.
to meet you guys. We'll talk soon.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I don't know.
See you later.